Good morning, dear children. Today we will start a new chapter, Reflection of Light in Plane Surface. So we will discuss the four things today. Number one is the definition of reflection. Second one is the types of reflection. Third one is the terms related with the reflection of light. And the fourth one is the laws of reflection. So first of all, we will discuss about the term reflection. Now the term reflection actually it is a bouncing back of light. To bounce back. Bouncing back of light after striking the reflecting surface is called reflection. So I'll give you the example. You take a ball, okay, football or basketball, okay, or volleyball. The ball is in your hand. Now you drop the ball on the ground, and after dropping that ball, when that ball strikes on the ground, it comes back to your hand again. That means before you release the ball is in your hand, and after releasing the ball will drop to the ground, and again it comes back to your hand. Which means that the ball is, you are dropping the ball from your hand, then again the ball after striking the ground it comes back to your hand. Likewise, the light rays also follow the same process here. So in a light rays, suppose a ray of light coming from a source, okay, from any source, the light source, when it strikes the reflecting surface, after striking the reflecting surface, they will go back to the same medium where it has come. Okay. Now let us consider this as a reflecting surface. M1 and M2 is the reflecting surface. Then this is a ray of light coming from a source. And when this ray of light it falls on the reflecting surface, then after that what will happen? These rays of light will go back to the same medium where it has come. So this is known as the reflected ray. Okay, so I'll mark it here AOB. Okay, so AO is the ray of light which is coming from the source, which we call it as an incident ray. Okay, and the ray of light which are striking the reflecting surface, these are the incident ray. And the bouncing back, the ray of light which goes back to the same medium is the reflected ray. So here OB is the reflected ray, AO is the incident ray. Okay, so the definition of reflection of light is the phenomena in which the rays of light after a ray of light after striking the reflecting surface will go back to the same medium is known as reflection, or it is a phenomena of bouncing back of light after striking the reflecting surface, which we call it as a reflection. Okay, now let us consider a beam of light. Now beam of light means the collections of rays of light. If I draw a line, this line denotes a ray. We call it as a ray of light. Okay, and this ray of light can be given by arrow, and this arrow indicates the direction of the ray of light. Okay. Now if I draw a number of rays, and this ray of light means a straight line path in which the light travels, which we call it as a ray. Ray means a straight line path in which a light travels is known as ray of light. Now if I draw a number of rays here, if I draw number of rays, okay, now these collections of the number of rays of light will form as a beam of light. Now we call this as a beam of light. Okay, so if I draw a single line, that forms a ray. If I draw a number of lines one after the other, that forms the beam of light. Now what happens is when the beam of light is incident means the ray of light which are coming from the source and striking the reflecting surface, that is the incident ray. Now let us consider a beam of light when it is incident on an opaque surface. Okay, when a beam of light is incident on an opaque surface. Opaque surface means through which the light cannot pass to them. Okay, table, chair, book, all these are the opaque objects. So when the incident ray when the ray of light is incident on the opaque object, so what will happen? So partly the light will be reflected, okay, and rest of the light will be absorbed. That means in an opaque object, what will happen? Mostly the light will be absorbed. Only partly the light will be reflected, and most of the light will be absorbed. Similarly, when the ray of light is incident on the transparent object or the transparent body, opaque body first one, and second one is the transparent body. So what happens is that when the ray of light will fall on the transparent body, partly the light will be reflected, partly the light will be absorbed, and the rest of the light will be transmitted. That means they give out. Okay, they will be transmitted. So that means when the ray of light will fall on the transparent body, partly the light will be reflected, okay, partly the light will be absorbed, and the rest of the light will be transmitted, which will give transmitted means which are given out. So this happens in case of a transparent body. Okay. So now when we consider this opaque body and transparent body, now in a transparent body means the light can pass very easily. Okay, transparent. So transparent glass is a transparent. Okay, water is a transparent. So all these are transparent body. Okay, in transparent body the light can pass very easily. Now why the light can pass very easily is because most of the light will be transmitted from the transparent body. Okay, partly the light will be reflected, partly the light will be absorbed, and rest of the light will be transmitted from the transparent body. So this happens in a case of a opaque body and the transparent body when a beam of light or the incident beam of light falls on the body, like the opaque body and the transparent body. Okay. Next one is the types of reflection. There are two types of reflection. Number one is regular reflection. One is a regular reflection. And second one is diffuse reflection. D-I-F-F-U-S-E-D. Diffuse reflection, also known as irregular reflection. Diffuse reflection is also known as irregular reflection. They are also known as irregular reflection. Okay. Now, what is regular reflection? Now, regular reflection is when a parallel beam of light, suppose this is the refracting surface, okay, M1, M2, okay, and a parallel beam of light. These are the beam of light. I have drawn a number of rays here. Okay, these are the beam of light which are coming from the source, and beam means the collection of the ray of light. When a beam of light falls on the reflecting surface, and after striking that reflecting surface, it will be reflected back into the same direction. Okay, it will be reflected back into the same direction. That means the ray of light when it falls on the beam of light when it falls on the reflecting surface, after striking the reflecting surface, they will bounce back to the same medium at equal direction, in the same direction. Okay, so these are known as the regular reflection. And the regular reflection takes place when the reflecting surface is smooth and polished. When the reflecting, this is the reflecting surface, when the reflecting surface is smooth and polished, therefore regular reflection takes place. So second one is irregular reflection or the diffuse reflection. Now, in a diffuse reflection or irregular reflection, the reflecting surface should be rough and unpolished. It should be rough and unpolished. So when a parallel beam of light it falls on the rough and unpolished surface, after striking that reflecting surface, the light will bounce back into different direction. Okay, they will bounce back or they will be reflected back into different direction. So having like this. They are not, that means they are not reflected back into the same direction. That means they will be reflected back into the different direction. Okay? So you can see here, okay, in a different angles, they are forming different angles and they get scattered, and you say the rays of light get scattered. When this parallel beam of light, when it falls on the rough reflecting surface or the unpolished reflecting surface, after striking that reflecting surface, they will bounce back, okay, in a different direction. But here they will bounce back in the same direction. So these are about the regular reflection and irregular refraction. Okay, so irregular reflection. In irregular reflection, the reflecting surface should be unpolished and rough, so that when the beam of light, when it falls on that reflecting surface, they get scattered or they get directed in a different direction. Whereas in a regular reflection, when a beam of light falls on the smooth and polished reflecting surface, they will be scattered in a same direction. So this is about regular reflection and irregular reflection. And irregular reflection is also known as the diffuse reflection. Diffuse means to spread it out. Okay, to spread, the rays of light get spread. So this is about the types of reflection. Now let us come to the next point. The terms related with the reflection. Okay, number one point is, so this is the reflecting surface. First one is the incident ray. Okay, first one is the incident ray. The ray of light which strikes the reflecting surface is called the incident ray. Okay, the ray of light which strikes the reflecting surface is the incident ray. Okay, and other one is the reflected ray. The ray of light which bounces back or which goes back after striking the reflecting surface is called the reflected ray. So therefore I write it here A, O, B. So that means AO is the incident ray, OB is the reflected. I cannot say BO is the incident reflected ray, okay? Because the ray of light is going from O to B. It's not coming from B to O. So incident ray is AO and reflected ray is OB. And other one is here, that is O. O is the point. Okay, there is one point here, okay, which we call it as a point of incidence. Point of incidence. Now, point of incidence, it is a point on the reflecting surface where the incident ray strike. It is a point on the reflecting surface where the incident ray is strike. When the incident ray fall, okay, from any source of light, when the incident ray fall at one particular point on the reflecting surface, that point we call it as a point of incidence. So O is considered as a point of incidence. So point of incidence is, it is a point on the reflecting surface where the incident ray strikes. Okay? Then other one is here known as the normal. Normal is always drawn at the center. And O is the normal. So in case of a normal, okay, normal means the perpendicular drawn on the reflecting surface. So this is the reflecting surface M1 and M2. Okay? And on this reflecting surface, when I draw a line, perpendicular line, okay, and this perpendicular is known as the normal. So NO is considered as the normal. So first one is the incident ray, second one is the reflected ray, third one is the point of incidence, then fourth one is the normal. The fifth one is angle of incidence. Angle of incidence means the angle made by the incident ray with the normal. The angle made by the incident ray with the normal is called the angle of incidence, which is denoted as small letter I. Next one is the angle made by the reflected ray with the normal is called the reflected ray, which is given as small letter R. So these are the angle of incidence and the angle of reflection. So these are the terms, okay, which are associated with the reflections of light. Is it clear? Okay. Now let us come from this figure. Okay. Now from this figure you can understand here M1, M2 is the reflecting surface, O is the point of incidence. Okay. NO is the normal, AO is the incident ray, OB is the reflected ray, AON is the angle of incidence. Angle AON. That means that is the angle of incidence, which is given as I. Okay, angle of incidence is I. So AON means the angle made by the incident will be the normal. Then again angle BON. BON is the angle of reflection, which is given as R. Okay, so these are the terms associated with the reflection of light. Now let us come to the laws of reflection. There are two laws of reflection. Now follow this figure here, diagram. The first law of reflection, it says that the incident ray, the refracted ray and the normal, they lie at a point of incidence. The first law is that the incident ray, AO is the incident ray, OB is the refracted ray, NO is the normal. That means all these three, normal, incident ray, refracted ray, normal, they lie, all these lines, okay, they lie at a point called the point of incidence. That means incident ray, refracted ray and the normal, they lie at a point of incidence. That is the first law. The first law says that the first law of reflection is the incident ray, the refracted ray and the normal at the point of incidence lie at the same plane. Second one is there, second law, the angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Always the angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. That means angle AON equals to angle BON. The angle of incidence is equals to angle of reflection. Okay, so this is the second law. So in the next class we will discuss the image. Thank you.